Hi, this is Stacy with Lily Bean Crafts by Stacy. Welcome back, and if it's your first time, thanks for stopping by. So today I'm starting off with a 24-ounce plump that I've already prepped and spray painted white, and I'm going to be putting a template onto there. So I use this cat scratch tape that I got from Amazon, and here is the floral design that I'm going to be applying to it. And I went and I got this template from Diamonds and Dust, and I already went on my Cricut and I printed it out onto this cat scratch paper. And one of the things that I like to do after I do a template, because it's really hard for me to apply the cat scratch tape generally, I like to put it on a white piece of permanent vinyl. It just makes applying it to the tumbler a little bit easier. So I'm just going to kind of show you how I use the hinge method and very carefully peel the back off of this. I don't often do templates, so it was a bit of a refresher for me to do one again. It's been a hot minute since I've done it. So once I have this on here, I'm just going to go ahead and just trim it up around and get ready to use the hinge method to apply it to the tumbler. So I'm going to go ahead and peel some of the backing back off of this permanent vinyl and just trim it for me to do the hinge method. And then I'm just going to reapply it so that I can take a second to make sure that I have it lined up pretty good. It's extremely important when you're doing a template to make sure that it's lined up so that it all meets cohesively or on the two sides. I've had way too many times where it's off and it just throws off the entire design. And then I'm just going to very carefully apply this with my large squeegee, making sure that I don't have any bubbles in there. And then taking my time here at the end, because it does have a slight bit of overlap. So I just want to make sure that it's, first of all, lined up really good so that if it's not, I can peel it back off. It did line up for me the very first time. So with this overlap, I'm just going to take a piece of painter's tape and line it up where that's at, and then use my X-Acto knife to just trim off the extra edging on here. This is a wavy template design that I got from Diamonds and Dust, which I will link in the description. And now I'm just taking my pen and I'm just marking off where I'm going to be putting what. I am going to be putting 4 different glitter colors down, and I am going to be putting some vinyl striping in this wavy section as well. So now that I have it kind of figured out how I want it to be, I'm going to take the very first piece of the template here, and it didn't want to peel off nicely for me. I just used my X-Acto knife when it wanted to get stuck and just helped it along. And I'm just going to carefully take this off, and then I'm going to apply the very first glitter color. And because it's going to have a little bit of a pastel look, I wasn't worried about spray painting it to make the colors more vibrant. This first color of purple that I'm using is from Chase Ray Creations, and it is called Violet. I like the way that it matched with the design, and I'm going to try to take a brush here and just carefully get as much of this overlap off as possible. All of this paperwork is eventually going to be coming off anyways, but I try not to have the colors bleed if I can avoid it. Decided to go with the next brightest color next, so I'm going to be using this pink and peeling this off. I am going to be using Dream House from Chase Ray Creations for this pink. It's a little bit of a mini chunky mix. I totally didn't record putting it down, but that's where it's at. This is the chunkiest of all of the glitter colors that I used. I wanted to have a little bit of a variation, so it almost kind of has like a geode feel to it. So that's how I went with that one. Now I'm going to my next color, finding it where I have it marked off with my pen, and I'm going to peel that back. And the next color is also from Gracefully Creations, and it is Sea Glass. It is the most beautiful pastel-y green that I own, and I definitely wanted this color to be on this design, and so I'm just going to go ahead and apply that. And then right next to that one, I'm going to be applying the next color. And if you haven't done so yet, come check out my Lily Bean Crafters community Facebook group. I will link it in the description. I am now starting to go live weekly, and I would love for you to come and join me for a live and ask any questions or just chat. And the final colored glitter that I'm using is Butternut from Gracefully Creations. I wanted to put it right next to the yellow. I thought the two colors would be really, really nice together. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my time applying this, cleaning this off as much as possible, dusting off as much of all of these colors, because now I'm going to be taking off all of the rest of the paper for the template. Point, everything else that I take off is going to have a white glitter on it. The vinyl that I'm using is transparent, so I want the glitter to be able to shine through. And what color or what glitters I'm using for that is they are both whites. They're both from Peachy Olive Glitters. It's a combination of flurries and bright together. It's going to make it so that it's got a really bold, bright white to it with not a lot of shift, but it also is going to have a little bit of sparkle in it by including the bright. Now that I have that all done, I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to spray it 2 times with my clear spray paint, making sure that it's completely dry. And then I do put a coat of my glitter glue over it, which I did not film. I did wanted to make sure that this was completely sealed. So I put that on, I let that dry for 3 hours. And now I'm going in with my first coat of epoxy. This is 20 mLs of my fast set epoxy. I'm going to go ahead and get this applied, let this spin for about 2.5 hours, and go directly in with another 10 mLs of my fast set epoxy and let that go for 4 hours, and then we'll start adding on the vinyl floral print. I got this transparent floral print from Wendy over at 311 Co. and I got it several weeks ago, and it's beautiful. And I've just been sitting on it trying to figure out what I want to do with it. I wanted to do something a little bit unique and special with it. And when I saw this template from Diamonds and Dust, I immediately thought of this floral print and wanted to get this going. So I'm just going to take my time. I peeled it off, and I am going to apply this very carefully. These thin ones, I'm just doing it by hand, and the larger piece for the center, I'm going to use transfer tape. Did peel off and put off to the side any of the vinyl pieces that I wasn't going to be using. I wanted to save them just in case. And then for the rest of it, I'm just going to take this transfer tape and put it on there to make applying it a little bit easier. And then I'm just going to trim out with scissors here, just to make it so that I can get it, find its exact spot on the cup a little bit easier. It was a little bit tricky getting this applied. It just didn't seem to want to line up all the way. I got it lined up as good as I could. And then I cut some of the paper, the backing of it, to do the best hinge method I could with the way that this template was designed. And then I'm going to very carefully remove the transfer tape. There was a couple of bubbles that I kept running into, so I was peeling it up. This is a removable vinyl, so it was really easy for me to peel up and take care of that as much as possible. And then I just took my X-Acto knife and popped any other little bubbles that I ran across on here, trying to make it look as good as possible. The extra little pieces, I just went ahead and applied by hand. I tried to get this as close to the glitter edging as possible. There were a few gaps, but I am going to be putting some detail lines on here, so that is not going to be a factor. And now I'm going in with another 10 mLs of my fast set epoxy, sealing in all of this vinyl. And then once this dries for about 4 hours, I'm going to go ahead and start adding in the detail to finish this tumbler up. Like I said, with the glitters that I chose, I almost wanted this to have a little bit of a geode feel to it. Not just a straight up geode, but just a slight feel of it. So I decided to take my white super fine Posca pen and just draw out some detail lines on here. That's what's gonna give it a little bit more of a geode feel. And then once I have this all done, I'm going to just put it off to the side and let it dry. And then I'm going to be adding some rose gold pink super thin nail tape that I got from Amazon on to cover up this white. And any place where I'm running into where I don't like the way that I have it put on, I am taking just a little magic eraser and just erasing it right away and then going right back over again. When this is still wet, even when it dries, it's really easy to get the Posca pen off of a tumbler if you need to make any corrections to it. Then I'm gonna just take a Q-tip and dip it into my 91% alcohol, which I spilled right there. And I'm just going to go through any places where it just looks a little bit off and just rubbing it gently up against it just to erase any potential problems. Now I'm just going to take this super fine nail tape that I got. Putting this onto wavy lines is challenging. That's the best word that I could use for it. Having it bend and mold and try to keep it wavy and not straight or showing corners is a challenge. So I'm just showing you how I did just one of them because this was something that was time consuming. I just put it over the white Posca pen. I wanted it to have almost like an offset feel to it. And then once I have them all applied, I am going to take some clear nail polish and just apply it to the edges just to hold this down so that when I go to epoxy it, it doesn't lift up. Once the nail polish is dry, I'm going in with 10 mLs of my fast set epoxy. Going to head and make sure that I pop any bubbles and make sure that's nice and smooth. I'm going to let this go for 4 hours. I'm going to sand it down carefully because of all that nail tape. And then I'm going in with another 10 mLs of my Flynn Sisters Artist Cure resin and letting this spin for 8 to 10 hours, and then it will be all ready. Now I did do a glitter butt on this one and I did not film it because this was already a pretty lengthy video. I also have in some of my other videos how I do glitter butts, but I just kind of replicated on the bottom of it the way that I did throughout the tumbler. So this is the finished product. I love this vinyl floral so much that I just wanted to do it right, and I feel like I really nailed it. If you like this tutorial, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see everybody again next week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.